And welcome everybody to another episode of From My Mother's Basement, the show that basically celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason, and it's just me this week. Michael is busy helping out with family from out of town, so he is indisposed for this episode. But we still have plenty of stuff to talk about, and I have about a half-hour-long video to show you as well. For those of you who didn't know, this past weekend, actually it's still going on, well, it might have ended right now, closing ceremonies, but this weekend was Anime Conji down in San Diego. Now this was, I think, the third or fourth year of this event, and it's the first year actually being put on by the SPJA. They purchased the con outright from the former runners 6-8 months ago, something like that. Could be farther along than that. So I went to go down there and, got my badge and started walking around with some friends. Dragged some more friends down than I expected, and it would turn out to be a lot of fun. Well, let me phrase that. It was a lot of fun because we found things to do that were necessarily not really con related, but I'll get to that after the video. The main reason why I headed down to Anime Conji Friday was because I was actually hosting a panel. This was actually From My Mother's Basement's first panel. It was supposed to be at ALA, but I got sick and we've already gone through all of that. So, going there, setting everything up, realizing that, I thought, hey, yeah, they're going to put me at, 9:30 p.m. at night. We're thinking, oh, okay, well, considering how random we can get on the show sometimes, let's make it 18 plus. And yeah, it was fun still, regardless of, all the issues, but a lot of those were kind of out of our hands. But we'll talk more about that actually after the panel, which I'm going to show. We did record it. I had a couple cameras and recorded some audio. And unfortunately, in my haste to get everything set up and prepared for this episode, this SD card that I used to record the video, I thought it's 16 gigs, more than enough time to handle an hour. I totally forgot there was other stuff on there, so I only got like half the panel. So I did save what I could. We're going to go ahead and show that. It's about a half hour long, and then I'll discuss other thoughts about Anime Conji and how the rest of the panel went afterwards. So hope you guys enjoy this. Let me get this going for you. All right. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the chat during it, so enjoy.
Cut the audio.
Wow, we actually have a panel. This is... No. Scary. This is a bad thing. It's a horrible idea. I'm surprised I even got approved for it. So just leave it at that.
It's live.
Yeah, it's live, exactly.
We already did recording.
So, yeah, it's recording, so.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
How can I mute you?
Heavy editing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of editing.
Jay, you want my iPad? It's got an Autobox on it. Goes pretty far.
Good point. An iPad with an Autobox does go a long way, and cause a significant amount of damage to a head.
Is Viber still playing music?
He probably is. But it's all good. So yeah, this is the panel for From My Mother's Basement. This is a panel that, the show is essentially, we talk about anything you want. It's a celebration of being geek. That covers anime, comics, manga, sci-fi, movies, tech, you name it. Now, it's usually co-hosted by myself and my good friend Michael Underwood. This is not Michael.
Why not?
No.
I don't know, why aren't you Michael?
I don't own a tail. Is he going to see this?
Of course he is.
Oh, God, he doesn't know. Oh, I moved. That's good. He doesn't know where I live now. So.
That's cool, we'll tell him.
So, but because Michael could not make it, he actually wanted to be involved in one way or the other for the sole fact that he wanted to show uniting force for our first panel. Well, this should be our second, but then I got sick before AOA. So, oh well. So we recorded a couple videos of the viewers actually posted some questions for Michael to ask. And let's go ahead and play this, because this could be interesting.
Hello, all the people at Anime Conji. Sorry I can't make it. I have familial stuff I'm doing this weekend, so I was unfortunately unable to join you. So anyways, I'm glad you guys all came, and I guess we should go into the questions. Good question. I've got a couple. I could be El Derpo. Or I could be, I think I'll go with Darth Kitty, because that's what our Jason and I's friend, other Jason, Angry Jason as we call him, that's how he's got me listed in his cell phone as Darth Kitty. So I'll go with that one. There aren't any I'm really embarrassed of. I mean, it's a little known fact that I secretly love smarmy anime. You know, like Ayori Aoshi, I loved. Love Hina, all the stupid shit aside, I love the romance aspect of that. Karekano. But I don't know that I'd say I was embarrassed to admit it. Oh, here's one I'm embarrassed to admit I like. Crayon Shin-chan. I think it's a long time coming. We've been, for a country that has created so much incredible technology as the US has, to not have, to be outdone by developing nations for internet capability, case in point, India, large parts of India, Japan, the fact that our infrastructure is so woefully inadequate compared to these. I mean, freaking Brazil has better internet connections than we do. It's about damn time, and hurry up and get that crap to California. If I told you, I would have to kill you. Depends on the mood. Normally I'd go with the 100 duck-sized horses, but I kind of would like to have actual ducks in there too, because then I could grab them, stick them together at the bills, and do kind of like what it was, a Kung Pao Enter the Fist, where I'd have duck chucks. Instead of ground chucks or woodchuck chucks, I'd have duck chucks. I'd just whap the horses around. Or if I wanted to get really creative, I could grab a whole bunch of them, tie them to a wagon, and just let them guide me anywhere. That was kind of random, but I think I'd go with the duck-sized horses. Easier to step on. Burritos. Tron would win. Hands down. Although she would have that sonic piercing attack, which would threaten to decompile you. So that might actually cure the virus without him having to be partially decompiled. So in the end, Tron would win, but Hatsune Miku would get her shots in. Not even close. Okay, in a perfect world, I would love to be able to cosplay. I just have to go with Tenchi for the moment, if you're talking anime characters. The only characters that I honestly think I could possibly get away with cosplaying as would be one of the MIBs from Lane, because there was actually an MIB back when I had my hair down to my ass and was running around in a ponytail all the time. They actually have an MIB character in Lane that had that kind of hair and the goatee, so I contemplated doing that for a while. What flavor is the crack you're smoking, and did you bring enough for everybody? I would be the ugliest crossplayer you've ever seen. To validate this statement, let me tell you a little story. Back in 1992, I went to the Renaissance Fair in drag as a joke. Someone bet me I didn't have the balls to do it, so I did it. Borrowed my then girlfriend's outfit, the bodice, that's it. The bodice, the whole 9 yards, the cat, everything, shaved off all of this. And I went around fair that way all day. Needless to say, I won the $500. But where this becomes funny is I am the only person on record who has ever made, for anyone who's familiar with the fair characters, there's the Puritans that run around fair telling how everybody's going to hell and blah, 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 and it's almost impossible to disturb them or to distract them. I saw one of the Puritans doing a shtick. I happened to know the guy. So I walked up, pinched his ass, kept walking, didn't turn around. So he sees, admittedly tall woman walking away from him who just grabbed his ass, and he's like, "Lady, thou art going to hell, you are going to burn." Then I turned around and smiled. He's like, "Thou art going to we were right next to the Landsknecht camps, which is Germans, who just turn around flat out without skipping a beat and goes, "Well, at least now we know there are ugly women in the Shire." So I am the only one on record who has actually made a Puritan stop. I honestly can't think of an embarrassing con story. Because, although, okay, there is a hilarious one. Speaking of Brian, I want to say 2007, maybe 8. Brian shows up in his usual crossplay gear, but it wasn't, this is way before Raymond was even around. I forget the name of the character he was doing, but it was kind of like this maid type character, Japanese maid, not French maid outfit, but, you know, house cleaner type. And he's walking along, and I see him, and just out of the blue, I'm like, "My darling, I've missed you so!" And I ran, charged him, dropped to my knees, slid up to him, wrapped my arms around, held him tight, going, "Oh, I missed you so! I thought you had died. I thought I'd never see you. Don't ever leave me again." But I just went off on that for like 5 minutes, and everybody around us was like, "What the f?" And poor Jason's like, or not Jason, I'm sorry, Brian is all like, and I just stood up, patted him on his head, said, "Have a good time, dear," and walked away. Thank you all for coming to the panel, even if it's just the one of you, or the multitude of you. Cover all the bases. Thank you for watching the show. Please definitely tell your friends about it. We'd like to have more. The more viewers, the better. We are working on additional projects and additional shows that will be coming down the pipe. And yes, eventually we will even do the review show. I know y'all are sick of waiting for it, but it's almost done. So thank you for attending, and see you online.
Yeah.
$20 from the crossplay again.
$20 for him to crossplay again. Well, you gotta remember, Michael, back in the late 90s, before many AX staffers current would remember him, used to be part of the group that would host the Rocky Horror Picture Shows. He was Frankenberger. He would be full decked out outfit. He claims he ran faster across the stage in heels than the women. So, sadly, I have seen pictures.
Better than the conference pictures.
But much better than the conference pictures. So that's Michael. Essentially, for those of you who don't know, From Mother's Basement, like I said before, is a geek-centric show. We talk about everything under the sun that relates to geek. It could be video games one week. It could be anime, comics, manga. The next, we're working on getting a couple guests on the show. We have a lot of friends in the industry, so we're probably bringing them on very soon. But it seems like as we work on this show, we decide there are a bunch of other ideas that we have, and we have the free time to work on other projects. To give a little backstory about how all this really started, I was working at Anime Expo for about 7 years, and a good friend of mine, Brian, you saw him cross-playing in the video, we got together and thought, you know what, we need to put on like a podcast or a radio show. And we went to the then CEO at the time thinking we'll be automatically knocked down. And in less than 5 minutes after talking to him, we walked out of there with a budget of $4,000 and said, "You have 3 weeks, go." So we learned as we went along. That was for AX Live. I hear AX Live after, 3 years or something like that, it's coming to a close. So kind of sad, but I left last year to start working on these shows. And the first show that I started working on was actually an anime show called Anime. That's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. at animebreak.com. On that one, I like to break down the latest information from the past week in anime, manga, and video games. Yes, a lot of stuff that I talk about, initially from the news standpoint, you can easily go to ANN, Crunchyroll, one of your favorite news sites, and find that. I like to give like my own op-ed on it. I actually bring some friends in, like, you know, Carl, and I'll bring Josh in eventually. For those of you guys that were at the panel earlier, you notice our tech problems are not really there anymore. Yeah, I brought my own tech crew, so it works out well. So yeah, that's every Wednesdays at 7. That's been going on for a while now. We just wrapped episode, I think, 47 this last Wednesday. The From Another's Basement is on episode 41, and that's every Sunday. And we just keep on expanding on different items. The OtakuLife Network is going to be expanding to a bunch of new shows. We've been talking about for a while for creating a review show, not just of anime and manga, although that will be the majority of it. But just everything from, you know, hit Hollywood movies to we can go. What's the one he wants to do? The Nazis in Space movie. Which one was that one?
Iron Sky.
Iron Sky. It's going to be the first episode. We're just going to thrash it. So. Carl watched it with CP. I'm sorry. The other thing that we've been working on before we start, you know, gallivanting around and talking about, you know, con stories and whatnot, because all of us have a billion of them. We also been working on a possible gaming show, not in the sense of we're going to talk about video game news, but more along the lines of we would be playing, you know, your typical multiplayer online games, maybe an MMO, maybe we'll play some Skullgirls or some Guilty Gear and whatnot, and we'll have guests on. But the interview will take place while we're playing. So if it's, you know, we're playing Guilty Gear or Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo, they have to try to think of an answer or talk back and forth while we're trying to kick each other's asses. So that should be fun. The other one that we just barely started talking about was, I think it was this one, yeah. It's called the Ultimate Geek Showdown. Those of you who actually went to Anime Expo last year, on day 4, there was a panel that seemed out of place. It was called the Ultimate Geek Showdown, Darth Vader versus Batman. Who would win in a fight to the death? And it was fairly packed to the point where my co-host Wayne and I decided, you know what, we're going to try to come back and do it every year. The idea with Ultimate Geek Showdown, the website, is going to be, we're going to expand it beyond just panels. We're going to expand it to the point where if someone at a con on the East Coast, yes, I see a question, shut up, Josh.
Why is that not full screen?
Why is that not full
That is
screen?
so
Fine.
unprofessional.
Is that bothering you?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And maximizing it's not going to help you on the Mac.
Just double click it. No,
No, you double click, it's going to shrink in. I don't care.
I just want to see if you do it.
I can't reach to the laptop, it's only over there. Anyways, the idea is if you have like a geek showdown you would think would be awesome, like you have Luffy versus Lightning, and you wanted to set that up. Not only could you like maybe host a panel at a con, record it, and we'll post it on the website, but we'll also set up an area for people to have a discussion about it, and I'll create a real-time poll so that people can actually decide who would actually win in a fight. Yeah, what's up?
Is this in any way similar to Screw Attack's Death Battles?
To be honest, I've never heard of that. Screw Attack's Death Battles, I've never heard of them. And I would not be surprised because there are several groups out there who do similar stuff like this. I know a couple websites like Japan Eater does one as well. They do Friday night fights. The idea behind this is instead of having all the different websites and whatnot try to have their own, this one I want to get more of like the audience, the viewers involved on it. So it doesn't even have to be like myself or Michael or Wayne or anybody to that I know to host a panel. It could be anybody else across the country, if not the world. Set one up, post it on there, and I'll just spread it out across the internet. People can have fun with it. And it could be anything. I remember the main reason why we started working on stuff like this was back at Anime Expo 2006. Carl and I at the booth right there, we were running the tech for LP1, and they were doing giant robot fights.
Oh, God.
And we were just giant robot rumble. That's what it was called. We were just sitting there. They were going back and forth about a bunch of different, mechs and robots and whatnot, and Gundams. We were sitting there like, okay, this panel better be over soon. And then they finally brought up one that we thought could actually win. And the fight was Optimus Prime versus Tachikomas.
No, it wasn't Optimus Prime. It was what's his name? There's that one.
No, that was the final round.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was the final round. No, so it was Optimus Prime versus, I think it was 3 Tachikomas was the final decision. And everybody on their panel on stage was going, hey, Optimus Prime is going to totally destroy them, going to stomp on them. They're tiny little mechanical spiders, not going to do anything. Our buddy Jason, or Angry Jason, as you saw and Michael said in the video, said, Tech has a question, or a suggestion on this. And they go, okay, sure, what do you want to say? Tachikomas can hack. I'd like to change my answer to Tachikomas, please. And it went all the way to the final round, which was some...
the first Veritech.
Yeah, I think it was the first Veritech. And...
The dude who can see the future.
Yeah. It was some guy who was psychic. And the only reason why the Tachikomas lost was because the pilot was psychic and see what happened in the future. That's the only reason why it did not win. And since then, we've been talking about doing panels like this. I have some ideas for this year's Anime Expo's panel. I want it to be a duo fight.
Hey, bro. It's the original Gundam.
The original Gundam one? Oh, not the Veritech? The original Gundam. Okay, gotcha. Peanut gallery.
Okay, no.
Yeah, thanks, Tech Booth, for holding it down.
Tech table fixing this again.
There's a reason why I have a camera on you guys, so I can add this in later.
Now we gotta put like a little blur.
I don't give a shit.
I don't. 18 up, don't care.
Happy things?
Bro, I break down computers for a living.
So I mean, that's what the Ultimate Geek Showdown should be popping up. But once I finish the coding, probably in the next couple of weeks. From that.
Wait, you're gonna finish the coding?
Yes.
Does that HTML stuff scare you?
You don't, man. I'm in IT. It totally scares the crap out of me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Press for the win.
WordPress for the win. This is my friend Patty. He decided to tag along and say random stuff.
Is that one on? That camera?
Yeah. Both those cameras are on.
That's good, because I've been making faces at it the whole time. And I thought,
We're going to
Good.
separate them all with short bus.
yeah.
And it shall just be shortless. Well, here's the question for you. Why do we call you Short Bus?
Yeah.
Let's hear this story.
Okay, I'm going to tell the slightly PR version.
Bullshit.
Okay, no, I'll tell it this time. So, what year is it? I don't know, we were in Long Beach. 2007 in Long Beach Convention Center for Anime Expo, of course, because I do what all these guys do. And, at the time, I was in charge of volunteer staff. And we would tell our volunteers, don't let anyone in the room between panels. Like, just don't let anybody in. Well, they take that very literally, so no matter who came up to the door, they wouldn't let them in. So even if you had an all-access, I'm a manager, I'm a div head, I sign people's paychecks kind of badge, the volunteers would be like, no, you can't come in. You're like, no. They're like, no, really, I can come in here. No, they told me nobody can come in. So some of the tech people, Carl, Justin, they try to tell the kid, no, he can come in. No.
Because he's denying entrance to our boss.
Yeah, so he's like, I have to hear it from my manager. So they call me.
He's just a volunteer, right?
Yes, he's just, he's
a little,
doing his
for lack of a better phrase, a little
to get his badge so he can enjoy the con.
Right.
So they call me, and I'm down the hall. Call me and say, one of your volunteers it's not letting anyone in the room, no matter what we say. I'm like, okay. At this point, I'm tired, cranky, this isn't the first day of con. So I come walking down, and I come into the room from a different side from where the guy's blocking the door. And by this time, he has the door open, and he's standing there blocking it. Like Josh said, he's like blocking the door. and I yell across. And this is like a huge room.
It's like a 700 person.
Yeah, it's 700. It's almost 1,000 seat room. Yeah.
And I didn't want to deal with it, so I just scream across the room. I'm like, "Hey, short boss!" And the dude, yeah. And I'm like, "You can let the people in." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he just starts letting people in. But it's like, why would you respond to getting short bus? And then just be like, "Yeah, that guy's my boss. You know, he gives me commands." So then everybody calls me short bus. And it's well, the funny part is people don't know that story. Mm-hmm. So then when other people call me short bus, mm-hmm. they give me the look like, am I supposed to laugh? Or if I laugh, am I an ass? So
yes, you still should laugh.
Yeah. And then like, you know, I make a little joke back at him, and then people who don't know are like, oh, it's an inside joke.
Yeah, so, you know, Pat's going to be just sitting in here and saying random stuff. Who knows what the hell's going to happen. Why did we give him a mic?
Or, hey, did we give him a mic? He sat down. He sat down and asked for a level. You didn't say no.
He said that and asked for a level.
You didn't say no.
That's all you have to do. It's important. Be like,
sit down, look important, and you have no idea how far you can get in anything.
It's not my fault you didn't.
It's all good.
And unfortunately, from there, everything kind of went a little crazy in terms of the storytelling and whatnot. We still had another like 30 minutes to go. Unfortunately, like I said at the beginning, the SD card that I had in the video camera ran out of space. So, unfortunately, I do not have access to the video for that. So I apologize. But as a first panel, I think it went all right. We have a lot to work on. You know, if I can get Michael at a panel in a future con. And I'm looking for different ideas. Instead of just, you know, swapping stories, which we can do all the time, I want to be able to create like a game or have something to talk about that, you know, will actually get people involved. Once I finally get someone to help out with sponsorship, I can start doing giveaways. I know that's always grabbing people, but I want people there who want to be there for the content, not for, I want the prize at the end of the panel. So, but that's just a taste of what happened at the Anime Conji panel. It was fun. Like I said, I actually went there earlier in the day, hung out with some friends, saw some people I haven't seen in a while, and I checked out like their AMVs. I mean, that was fun. Looking at how anime has evolved over the past couple years, it's starting to get there. It's not 100% there yet, but it's pretty close to where like a con of that size, I think like 3,000 attendees or less, that's about where you want to, you know, where they're at tech-wise and setup-wise, it's probably where you want to go. I think one of the only major downsides is their location. Not just being in San Diego, I mean, that's fine. They were at the Town & Country Hotel, which is a very large complex. Like the hotel itself is spread out, pretty wide, and you had some events and panels and rooms in one part of the hotel in the convention area, and then you had another few way on the other side. So you were doing a lot of walking, going back and forth, which, is fine. But it was just like everything's all spread out, which kind of led to the entertainment of the day, where me, Pat, Carl, Josh, you saw them in the video. We kind of took the CEO of the SPJ. We took his golf cart and kind of just went joyriding for like an hour, just driving around. Screaming at random cosplayers like in poses, regardless if it was a guy or girl. We would just drive past and go, "Cosplay is not consent," and run away. That kind of became more of like a punchline or a joke than an actual movement. You can watch the last week's Anna Break special for my rant on that. But I mean, it was fun for what it was. If anything, like I said, to improve its, the con as a whole, I mean, they have the tech side down pretty good. They're working with a good company. new location where everything's more consolidated. Not smaller, just in the same spot would probably be best for them on that. As for future panels for From Mother's Basement and At a Break and all these other shows we're working on, I'm looking at a few other places. I'm thinking maybe possibly Fanime, if I can get one out there. We'll see if I get one in Anime Expo. I would love to go to SakuraCon, Otakon, maybe Anime Boston or even PAX. That would be fun. Equestria LA. There's a number of places I'm trying to get panels at so you guys can all meet up and we can have fun. And I'm working on, like I said, not only just a panel where we just talk about the shows, but it'd be an extension of that where we add some games or maybe some giveaways or maybe I'll bring a guest on board for a panel. So stuff is in the works, but it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I couldn't show you the entire panel. I will note that for next time that I'll have I'll make sure to wipe the SD card before I hit record. So, the shout out in the chat, it'd be cool if you got one at DragonCon. DragonCon would be a hell of a lot of fun, but given its location and its proximity to where I live right now, it's a very expensive proposition. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities, but eventually I would like to go to DragonCon. If anything, as an attendee, because there's a lot of cool stuff there. That and South by Southwest and a number of places. So, but like I said, this is going to be a short episode because we couldn't show the entire thing. And I mean, Anime Conji was fun. I mean, I did pay, for a 1-day badge. Didn't plan on going for the rest of the weekend. Just couldn't afford, not really the ticket price, but more so the cost of gas or a hotel room and food and whatnot. So it was still fun regardless. So all right, guys. That's gonna be it for this episode of From Mother's Basement. Stay tuned for post show. We'll talk a little more there. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. And yeah, on behalf of Michael for From Mother's Basement, I'm Jason. Thank you so much for joining us. See you guys next week. Take it easy.